Okay, guys, Adam Trigger here. It is Thursday, and it's time for more Major League Baseball free picks right here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Not a great day for me for clients yesterday. I gave back my 2-0 client plays from Tuesday with an 0-2 on Wednesday, so we've got to try to get that back today. But the free pick won, Guardians, another underdog here on the free pick video, and they win again. So good 2-1 start to the free picks so far this week. All three were underdogs, and two of them won at like plus 125 odds. So free pick videos are doing well so far this week. And I've got two free picks for you today. However, they're both going to be favorites. So you'll have to try to figure out how you want to play this. We're going to talk two of the night games today on Thursday. The first one we're going to talk about is Reds Cubs. So I think it's worth pointing out that we are in clinching season here in Major League Baseball. You are going to start to see teams and more teams than normal pop the champagne bottles, clinch playoff spots. I don't know how I feel about the champagne bottles popping for a wild card spot, but that's what they do. They're going to have a celebration. That's what the Cubs did yesterday. Marquee Sports Network showed like the whole thing. Pretty sure Pete Crow Armstrong was hammered. Saw him without a shirt on. Had the goggles going. It's you know what? It's a long season. I'm all for it, actually. Like the more I think about it, let these guys enjoy themselves. The Cubs going back to the playoffs for the first time in a couple of years. Great season for them, and they're starting to play good ball. But it's worth noting that after the win over the Pirates, they probably had a good time. Maybe had a few beverages on the flight out. They travel from Pittsburgh to Cincinnati to start a series here. And they start the series against a Reds team that's still all business, that still needs to win. That every game the rest of the way for the Reds will be of utmost importance, because the Reds, even though they're only 76-76, and it doesn't really feel like they've played great ball this year. I mean, I feel like the Reds have kind of been a disappointment for me. I thought this was going to be a very good team, and they're still pretty good. But with all the talent that they have, the Ellie Dela Cruz and a lot of these young players, I just feel like they should be better. They make a lot of mistakes, and I think that's a big reason that they're a 500 team on the outside looking in of the playoff race right now. That being said, just 2 games back, get a big home series here against the Cubs. In what is, in my opinion, the game that they have to win. Now, they're going to have opportunities to win games all weekend, but the Cubs are playing better right now, and it's this. Even though the Cubs have clinched their playoff spot, I don't think that this series is going to be very easy for the Reds, because the Cubs are playing good ball, and I think the Cubs will want to keep that momentum sort of going into the playoffs. Plus, I do think that they still have a very, very, very outside shot of, getting in the mix for the NL Central. It's slim, but I think they're like 5 back. So the Cubs have won 4 straight. They're going to probably continue to play hard until the games are totally pointless. And just because they went out drinking last night, or at least you assume they did from, they had a few during the afternoon after they beat the Pirates, doesn't mean they're not going to show up to play hard here. Doesn't mean, their starting pitcher, I think it's going to be Colin Ray, won't throw a good game. But I do think that even in spite of all that, this spot sets up better for the Reds with Hunter Green on the mound. I think he gives them a big advantage. And I do think you need to acknowledge that there is this, we clinched yesterday, blow off some steam, let's party a little bit. And now we have to turn around and play a baseball game today on the road. That is a do or die spot, in my opinion, for the Reds. What makes, so outside of just the fact that they're 2 back, that they really need to win this game, I think this spot is so huge for the Reds because you have Hunter Green on the mound. And I just this is the guy that needs to win when he takes the ball. He is the ace of the staff at this point. When you look at the StatCast page, it's all red. Rates out as great, well above average. Fastballs 99, 100. It's one of the probably the best fastballs of any starter in the majors right now. Throws it a lot, so that's the one thing. Like if you're the Cubs, you're going to get basically 55 to 60% heaters. Just see it, hit it. Here it is. Because of that, he tends to pitch up in the zone. I almost think it's one of those things where he knows he can throw 100, so I'm going to throw it up, and you're just going to have to do something with it. Most big league hitters are struggling to, turn around 100-mile-an-hour high heat, and that's why he's had such a good year this year. I also think it explains some of his, I guess what I would consider to be the one sort of drawback or weakness that Green has is the fact that he does throw up in the zone. And if someone does turn around 100 four-seam fastball up in the zone, it's typically hit very hard. And it also can leave the ballpark in a hurry. That's why when you look at his, the blue in his StatCast profile, 4%, bottom 4% in Major League Baseball in ground ball rate. So he is going to give up some fly ball. That's not the best thing at Great American Ballpark. The ball can get out of this park. And then, of course, the hard hit rate is way up because on the off chance someone is going to make contact with 100 up, it's going to be hit hard. That's how you explain sort of the blue areas on his chart. But I mean, I'm happy to give that up for a guy that is 116 strikeouts and 92 2/3 innings and a whip of 0.99. Those are elite numbers as a starter. And so is he going to give up a laser beam here and there? Yeah, but it's rare. So you'll live with it. And if the Cubs end up hitting a couple of those out of the ballpark, you'll tip your cap. You just have to tip your cap in that standpoint because Green is not giving up a ton of contact. So even though the balls that he gives up can tend to be hit hard, he's just not giving up hits that often. I think the Reds have to win behind him today. It is such a big spot for the Reds, but also it sets up really nicely having the Cubs coming in, having to travel, having clinched yesterday, maybe had a little celebration after we know they had a celebration after the win over the Pirates, but probably carried into the plane ride, maybe into the evening. Now they turn around and play a game that maybe they're not quite as focused on. Another thing I'll point out is the Brewers did win yesterday, and I think that maybe takes some of the wind out of the sails for the Cubbies in the division because it just becomes so much less likely that they're going to be able to catch the Brewers, and it doesn't look like the Padres are going to catch them. So the Cubs, as far as they're probably playing the most meaningless baseball at this point of anyone still in the playoff hunt because I just don't think they can be caught for that final wild card spot, and they're just probably not going to catch the Brewers. So Reds here has to be the side at -140. I do think the tax to the Cubs party tax, if you will, is baked in, but it doesn't mean it's not a good spot for the Reds. All right, quick promo here. My Major League Baseball best bet is likely in progress as you're watching this video. So I don't know if I'll have anything on the night games. I'm talking about 2 of the 4 night games. So doubt I have an MLB play up for tonight. But what I do have up is the Weekend Warrior Football Pass on my page right now. It's only $49. It includes all plays, including 5% plays. And it's Saturday and Sunday, which is, I believe, where all of my football action is, at least I haven't decided about Monday night yet. And if I add Thursday, I will say this. If I add something in the Bills-Dolphins game, I'll probably just give it out on I'm on Last Call tonight. So you can catch me on Last Call tonight talking Bills-Dolphins. Don't have a play in there yet. But it looks like all of my football action will be Saturday, Sunday. I've already locked in a 4% best bet in college football. I'll be adding NFL. And it's all on the Weekend Warrior Football Special, $49, get you the whole weekend. All right, let's go on to another game tonight. If you don't want to lay that $1.40 juice with the Reds, I'll give you something I think you can parlay it with. So we'll go way out west, 10 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be Dodgers-Giants, and I took a brutal loss with against the Giants yesterday. I had the Diamondbacks. I got 9 innings of one hit ball on a Brandon Pfaadt. He didn't give up a single run, and somehow the Diamondbacks couldn't figure out how to win that game. That's more on Arizona than it is the Giants being the better team there. The Diamondbacks had the winning run at third, less than 2 outs in the 9th and the 10th with elite speed. Corbin Carroll, Alec Thomas couldn't get either of them home. Very disappointing. Fortunate result for the Giants, in my opinion. But I think it's maybe overvalued them a little bit here. So we'll go back to last week when we talked about this series and it was in San Francisco. And I actually backed the Giants successfully last Friday, unsuccessfully last Saturday. But my point was last week, the Giants were red hot. And I kind of talked about that in my breakdown of this series where I said, I'm willing to kind of ride this Giants team until while they're hot. But as soon as they stop hitting, they've got to be a fade because this offense, when they're not hitting and when guys are like not just like playing out of their minds, is bad. It's just not a very good offense. And that's what we saw for most of this week so far in that Diamondbacks series. The Giants kind of stopped. They lost a slugfest on Saturday to the Dodgers. On Sunday, they didn't hit at all. And they really didn't hit at all in the Diamondbacks series. I believe at one point in time, from Tuesday into Wednesday, they had gone 11 straight innings without a hit. And then they scored 5 runs, but that was like kind of a gift. Of course, they get the ghost runner in the 11th inning. Diamondbacks brought in a bum reliever because they already used their best bullpen arms, and the Giants were able to take advantage for 5 runs to win the game 5-1. I don't think the Giants have much of a chance against Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He's been as good as it gets. He's in like Hunter Green. I would even say more so. He is one of the elite starting pitchers in Major League Baseball. 0.98 WHIP, 187 strikeouts, 162 in a third innings. It's very rare that he doesn't have his best stuff, and he's just been. It looks like he's building toward being in postseason form. And the Dodgers in general look like they are building toward being in postseason form. I don't think this is now the time to go against the Dodgers. I think you're going to see the Dodgers close out this division, close the Padres out and win the NL West. And it just feels like right now the Dodgers are starting to turn the corner from, kind of go out and win because we have more talent than everyone, win enough to playoff Dodgers, defending World Series champion Dodgers, best of the best, one of the elite teams in Major League Baseball, 7-3 in their last 10 games. And like I said, I think they're kind of on a mission right now to close this division out and go into the playoffs on a high note. I think this is cheap. I thought you were going to get a chance. I thought you would have a chance to play Giants plus 1.5 here on the road with Logan Webb. May have been a little bit appealing, but the books kind of priced this much lower than I expected. That plus 1.5 on the Giants is like minus 150. I wouldn't lay that. And you're looking, it's like it's only minus 160 to back the Dodgers. Yes, I understand they have Logan Webb on the mound or the Giants have Logan Webb. He could be really good, but this Dodgers team just saw him. And I don't think the Dodgers are, a team that can't get to Webb. He's had a great season. It's another solid season for him, but he hasn't been unhittable. And this Dodgers lineup is as good as it gets. So again, this is one where I kind of have the Dodgers more like a $2 favorite here at minus 160. It's not bad. I think that's actually a very reasonable price on the Dodgers at home with Yamamoto on the mound. So if you can't stomach playing either of these straight, that's not a bad parlay. Reds minus 40 to Dodgers minus 160 is plus money for just, I suppose, tracking purposes, even though we don't really track the free plays. I will give them out separately. I've given out a bunch of underdogs so far this week, so a couple favorites tonight. So free picks tonight, Reds minus 140, Dodgers minus 160. If you don't like juice, parlay them together. Get yourself a little plus money by parlaying those two. If you're looking for my plays this weekend, they're on my page. You can see the address scrolling down below, that Good Football special. And we also have specials on All Access, which gets you everything. I will very likely have a Korean baseball play up for the morning. I believe I've been very selective in that league, but I'm 8-2 in my last 10. And I've got one circled that I'm just kind of waiting for a little bit more info on. But if I get there, if it checks out, it will be a 4%er. So keep an eye on that. And I will see you guys in the morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, more total basis right here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. As always, thanks for tuning in. Good luck tonight, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.